Alright, welcome back, y'all. This is Amanda with Molly Cole Creations. We are back for day number 9 of our 12 DIYs of Christmas. Today's theme is a Christmas countdown. Now, I know y'all are gonna hate me because I took this really cute sign from Hobby Lobby. It was already cute. If I had a hot chocolate bar or a place to put it, I totally would have just kept it as is. But I really had an idea in my head that I wanted this easel type frame style sign. And I found it at Hobby Lobby. It was, of course, on sale, so it was very inexpensive. I want to say it was, I don't know, maybe $7. So I'm painting over all this cuteness. If I want to set up a hot chocolate bar and suddenly come up with a space for it, then I'll just go grab me another one. Hobby Lobby had probably 15 of them sitting there. So I'm trying not to have too much guilt over it. I'm painting all of it white. I did tape it off, as you can see. I want to keep the frame as is. This did take, I want to say at least 2.5, 3 good coats to cover everything and make it look really nice and smooth. I did want it very smooth. Now, I cut a design from my Cricut. I used many different elements from the Cricut to create this, because we want to call them sleeps. Sleeps until Christmas. My kids relate more to that, I guess, in a way. And so I took that little like ivy and berry thing, and then I changed up the wording and the days, or the numbers, I guess you would say. I cut the stencil, I sized it up so that I wouldn't really have to do a whole lot of measuring when I put it in. So I sized it up and cut it up just in the right space and measurements that I needed. And then I am just putting it onto some transfer tape. This part was really easy. And going forward, it gets a little bit less easy. Although I do drop part of the 8. But that's no big deal. I noticed it, so I could put it back. And I am just kind of burnishing it down, smoothing it out, pulling up the transfer tape. Was a bit of a chore, I will say that. I want to think it was like 8 minutes in total to pull this up. It was ridiculous. But whatever, it worked. Neither here nor there. It just took me, I was thinking I was gonna whip this project out like lickety split. And then stuff kept coming up. So, but anyways, we get it down. I'm going to save that piece of transfer tape because it is rather large, and transfer tape can be reused usually. Here we are. I've got it all laid out. I'm going to do black for the numbers. And so I'm starting out with it's just I don't know, regular folk art chalk paint. Nothing special. And then I'm using also green and red. For the green and red, I have really been enjoying the Chalk Couture colors in cherry and Oh man, what is that green one called? I'll have to put it up on the screen because it's not in front of me and I can't remember it. But those are what I used for the other colors. So there we have this little cute bow at the bottom, and I'm just using a sponge applicator, like a makeup sponge, I think is what they call them. And I'm just getting a little paint on at a time. Y'all have seen me stencil a million times. Y'all have seen everyone's stencil a million times, and probably y'all have done it yourselves anyways. So the key is just using as little paint as possible to get good coverage, but no bleeds. I did get very, very few bleeds with this. I was nervous because this is kind of a big deal. I mean, come on, we are counting down for Santa, right? And for Christmas and all the work we put in for this holiday and the joy that we are going to come by. So I was a little bit nervous, but it all ends up coming out nearly perfect. Oh, it's pesto. I just remembered. The color green is called pesto. They do tell you to mix if you're going to just simply paint with it and not use it with a silk screen transfer because it is rather thick. They tell you to mix it with water. Well, I didn't mix the green and it worked out just fine. So, I don't know. I did mix the red because I was following instructions, but I got in a hurry and I just thought, no, I'm trying it. And it worked out fine. I can't say that it's going to work out fine every time, but in this case, it did. It is thick, though, but chalk paint is thick. It's not acrylic paint. But anyways, so we're doing our little vine and our berries, and I'm doing Sleep's Till in the black, and I already did the Christmas in the cherry red. And I'm also doing the snowflake in black. I didn't want to try to find a silver, and I don't know, I thought it would work with black. So we're removing that, and it looks pretty darn good, y'all. I was a little bit relieved. There are some places, especially in the Sleep's Till area, that I'm going to probably do a tiny bit of touching up. But if y'all are like me, sometimes when we touch up, we make it worse. Okay, now here's a other little misstep. When I cut this stencil, I didn't cut the holes. I'm going to be putting nails in. And then I went to go try to line them up. I'm like, how in the heck am I going to line these up? I'm not a good measurer or mather per se. Had my husband been here, he probably could have measured it out and lined it up perfectly. But what I did was I went back into Design Space and I measured it out perfectly and cut just a little piece of cardstock. And then I traced it with a pencil. Now to get the holes to go in, I had to use like a big tack, which is originally what I thought I was going to use as the little hangers for each number, but it was too big. But it did help me create the hole for, I found these little gold nails in my drawer, and they looked better, but they didn't like go through the wood as well as these tacks did. And these tacks honestly didn't go in all that well either. This was kind of a chore. And it's not even like thick wood, it's thin, it's like MDF. I don't know what the issue was, but it was like a whole to do. So I made those pencil marks with the little cardstock paper stencil or drawing that we had, and it's not a drawing, template. It's a template. My words, y'all. Anyway, so I used the template to make the pencil marks. Then I used the tack to make the hole big enough for the nail, a tiny little nail, to go through. The nails are like a 5/8 inch gold. Let's see, what are they called? 16 by 5/8 inch. So, yeah, they were very, very tiny. And I just lucked out that I even had them because I was intending to use those big tacks, but they just ended up being too big. So I'm just using a hammer. You can see on the back, okay, everything is to, they go straight through. So I'm using these like cutters so that they don't poke out the other end. I couldn't really get all of them, and at this point my hands are just aching. So I'm gonna ask my husband, who is always very kind and helps me with anything I need, to help me trim those back ends off. Okay, now I bought those little beaded wreaths from Hobby Lobby, intending to use them on this. They are too big. So what I did was pull off one of the little bows from it, and then I pulled off a little wreath from a Dollar Tree sign and glued it on. And this is how it turned out. I think it's absolutely adorable. My kids are going to be able to move it around. They are going to have to ask. They're already asking. I should have had a 50-day countdown because they're already asking. But I think it's beautiful. I love it. Thank you all so much for watching, hanging out with me. Make sure you check out that playlist and Brenda's channel. Brenda did like 3 projects tonight. I've already seen them because I am late to upload. So go check them out and enjoy, and we will see you all tomorrow.